So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video where today we're finally gonna take a quick look at the Incarnon Ack and Brunt. You can get the Incarnon adapter for the Ack and Brunt from the steel path version of the circuit game mode. Once you have the adapter and an Ack and Brunt, of course, you can take them over to Cavalero in the chrysolith to combine them. This will also require 20 Pathos clamps, which you can get from the Autoworm boss fight, a 70 Drac root, which grows mostly in Kullervo's hold but also around the central island in the Paradox, and finally 300 Ariat scales, which you get from fishing in the Paradox. This allows you to evolve the weapon and it unlocks its Incarnon mode. To activate Incarnon mode, you first need to build up to 100 combo hits and then do a heavy attack. This will give you a 3-minute buff that increases your melee damage by 100% and it also boosts your sprint speed and bullet jumps. But it will also make you throw a spectral axe whenever you do either an aerial or a slide attack. These axes do primarily slash damage on hit and they also explode with a 5-meter explosion that does pure heat damage with a guaranteed impact proc. One really unfortunate thing about these axes though is the explosions can and will inflict self-stagger. Now let's move on to the evolutions, and before you can take advantage of these, you're gonna have to do a few things with the Ack and Brunt. So you have to finish a solo mission with it, then you have to activate its Incarnon mode 6 times, and finally you have to reach a 10 times combo multiplier 10 times. The evolutions you can get on the Ack and Brunt are kind of nuts. The first choice is between Templar's Wrath for 150 base damage, and then if you have more than 450 armor, you get 70% heavy attack efficiency, and Shield Maiden's Rush, which again gives you 150 base damage, and then 300% combo chance while blocking for 11 seconds on a shield break. For the second evolution, you can choose between Orokin Reach for 0.7 meters of extra range, Abiding Hold, which pauses the combo timer when the weapon is holstered, and Swift Break, which gives you 70% heavy attack wind-up speed. And for the final evolution, you'll be choosing between Rogue Readiness, which on a kill gives you a 50% chance to instantly reload your primary and secondary weapons, which is quite fun, Absolute Valor, which gives you 17% extra base crit chance, and Versatile Creed for extra 9% crit and status. I ended up going with a combination of Templar's Wrath because most of the Warframes I use for melee have over 450 armor, so I always get the heavy attack bonus, then Orokin Reach for more range, which is always nice, and I topped it off with Absolute Valor for the extra base crit. Now, since I chose the pure crit node as my final evolution, I actually ended up putting a little bit more status into my build than usual because the Ack and Brunt only comes with 10% base status, which is quite low. So we have Prime Pressure Point or Condition Overload for damage, Blood Rush for crit chance, Organ Chatter for crit damage, Weeping Wounds for status, Berserker Fury for attack speed, Vicious Frost and Virulent Scourge for vital, and then Carnis Mandible for slash. Now, the one main downside with this setup is that you don't get that much range. You only get 3.2 meters thanks to the 0.7 extra that we get from the evolution. But that's kind of made up for with the spectral axis. And it doesn't feel bad even with how flaily the stances for sword and shield weapons are. Overall, the damage is really nice, which is to be expected. I mean, even the basic Ack and Brunt without Incarnon can do early steel path just fine if you build it right. So you know, it's not that big of a surprise that it's really good when you double its damage, you give it a ton more base crit and then more melee damage from the Incarnon stuff. Now, the spectral axis can be really good if you just weave them into your gameplay. I wouldn't necessarily focus on the spectral axis on their own. It kind of depends on how familiar you are with the melee system and how comfortable you are weaving in and out of combos. Like for example, the fastest way to move around with most melee weapons is to utilize the first hit of a forward block combo, which usually has a dash, and combining it with a sprinting slide attack. If you get good at alternating between these two, you're going to move very, very fast with the vast majority of melee weapons. What you're watching right now is me doing this with the Ack and Brunt with just Warcry, no Arcane Strike, no Berserker, and this gets significantly faster the more attack speed you add. This works really well with the Ack and Brunt because as you're moving around, you're throwing axes all the time, which results in a lot of extra damage. So while you can definitely just use the spectral axis if you want to, I think it's much better if you just slide attack when appropriate and toss an axe every now and then. If however you like to use the spectral axis a little bit more, it's much better to do it with aerial attacks. So you jump into the air, you aim glide, and then you start throwing the axes. But anyway, regardless of what you want to do with the Ack and Brunt, I would recommend you pick it up. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it over some of the top tier weapons like the Boltor for example, but I would definitely recommend you pick it up at some point. It's just really fun and does very solid damage. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I would like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support. And if you would like to become a channel member as well, by the way, you can check out the memberships and stuff down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.